stood out most to me was that when you're passionate about something, you kind of just have to go for it. And experience that I realized that I do have a voice and that I need to speak up more. And it made me realize that even though we are far away from what's going on there, that we can still help with judging people and realizing that I do it to put a barrier and just so if I don't fit in, then it doesn't hurt as much. And I eventually realized that you do fit in, so the judging people wasn't really necessary. Differences that people have from each other, but how those differences bring people together. Because at Mountain Justice, we were all so different and came from all different places, but we had a similar interest in learning about mountaintop removal and dirty energy, and that kind of broke down the boundaries, and then you got to know people because you had a similar interest, and then you felt comfortable getting to know them more, or exploring something that's so new to you that you might feel uncomfortable with, but you immersed yourself into it.
When going on this trip, I didn't know a whole lot about mountaintop mining removal. I knew that they're destroying the mountains, but that was about all I had of the knowledge behind it. And I had biases of who we were going to be interacting with, but I thought I was going to be able to put them aside and not cast my judgment and stuff. But I realized on this trip that that's not quite so. So it was really a personal awareness gained from it. But it wasn't until about the second day, as you can see in the picture, it's kind of like not really into this. But the second day, I realized that I was allowing my biases to stand in the way, and I was unable to kind of set that aside so I could get a better experience. And from getting that better experience, I was able to realize that it was more than just destroying mountains, but it was really affecting the community itself, and it really struck my curiosity. And I realized I'm rather naive about what else is going on around us, rather than just my own environment. So this trip definitely opened my eyes. It was a bit of a culture shock at first, but I'm more aware of where I'm at personally and what I want to do with expanding my knowledge of other issues.
What part of this trip was very impactful for me was kind of expanding my understanding of mountaintop removal and the issues associated. Before I went on the trip, I had a very slanted view, mainly based on The Last Mountain and what I'd heard. It's one thing to watch The Last Mountain and hear that something needs to be stopped, but when you go down there and you talk to somebody who actually lives next to a mountain or lives on a mountain that's slated to be had the top cut off, and to have them say that they don't want coal mining to leave right away, that's really powerful for me. The whole trip I felt was really intense for everybody as kind of like an experience in exploring the interconnected issues. It was especially intense for me because I did a lot of self-reflection, and it made me kind of re-examine what I felt was my own apathy to these issues, and to examine what are my values and what kind of life do I want to lead that is in line with those values.
Being an engineering student, this trip kind of hit home for a lot of things that relate to my coursework, where talk about energy production and how we make energy. And to me, as an engineer and as engineers in general, we talk about efficiency and how we produce it in terms of how companies can make money, which is important. And that tends to be something that's above preservation. Not that it's not important to us, it's just not number one, because companies have to make money to operate. And being at Mountain Justice Spring Break and seeing these activists, a lot of them were really against that idea, and they didn't think that way, the way that I thought. And it made me think about how I think and what I want to do as a career. And it ended up making me want to work for a company in the future as my career, as something that, for a company that can be profitable and can produce what it needs to produce, but not destroy mountains or not make a place that I don't want to live, or people don't want to live, have clean air and have our land.
I was really taken back by the coal panel that Emily was talking about, and it just really made the issue more prevalent to me, because on that coal panel there were people from all different backgrounds, all different professions, and most of them weren't activists or anything, they were just normal people. And then this problem that they're trying to prevent actually came to them and made them start becoming activists. So in some cases, they literally came to their backyard. So it just helped me realize that, like, how big the issue actually was and how many issues there are. Another point that Mike was talking about, it just made me realize how the companies are in this economy are mostly about making money, and only if there is a new project, only analyze the monetary cost of it instead of balancing that with the social and economic costs too.
It really connected with me because I work on Superfund sites. I work with hazardous materials. I deal with this stuff every day, and I don't really think about, the impact it's having. Like, we take this waste and we clean it up and we remediate this site, but where does the waste go? I never really thought about it before this trip. That waste might be going into somebody else's backyard and just causing a whole nother issue for someone else. And I really got that. I got hit pretty hard when we first got to Mountain Justice. I had to debrief a little bit after the first session because I went into a session that was about environmental justice. And I sat down and there's this guy standing up in the front of the room telling everyone that the EPA is awful and, all these bad things that they do. And I'm sitting there going, well, that's not how we do things. That's just not the way it is. And, after I thought about it and I reflected and I learned about this, the Tennessee coal ash disaster, I realized that, we do go in and we do clean things up, but we don't really think about the impact that the waste is having on other communities. I think this trip helps to move people who see that big business world out there while they're in college and they're like, oh man, I'm gonna have to go out into that mess. And it really helps transform these people so that we have people going out into the working world who have that sort of strong ethical, awareness that can say, I don't want to be greedy. I don't want to be part of the problem. I want to be part of the change. It gives them the understanding and the curiosity about the issues to know that they're there, so that they can, when they step out of Widener and they step into the real world, they're aware of what's going on around them.
More of an immediate change is how I think of things.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of an example was on the car ride back, we got free stickers, and one of the most popular ones was when we were at Hollow Grove, they were talking about Esau, and it's a different story, but I was like, can we sell the free stickers for OSC? And I was like, I can't believe I said that. Did I really just say that after everything we just went through? And the coal companies were so greedy. It's like, I can't believe I just said that. And I was like, I didn't even say that. I take it back. Can we raise money for mountaintop removal? So that was the most immediate thing that happened for me. And now, after that happened, I just think, what can I do to bring the issue back here?